so close in the last 3 seasons runners-up. 22 years the wait has gone on. But now does it feel for Arsenal closer than ever?
Yeah, absolutely it does. I think the last 3 seasons, finishing second, not quite having the squad to maybe finish it off. But I think this season, more than anything else, and even the Manchester City game, I was saying to someone outside that the Man City game and the way we created chances in that, I think that the games that we've got remaining, we should be able to do it. But it's a beautiful, nerve-wracking kind of vibe, I mean, at the moment. It feels good and it feels bad. Even watching City last night beating Brentford, I'm expecting Brentford to beat City. It's never going to happen. Stop watching it too. But the fact is, you know what I mean, it feels more than at any stage, Dave, that this might be the one. But we've got to finish this game. You heard everything's going on about West Ham. West Ham need to stay. They were dreadful against Brentford. They're going to have to put it right in front of their own fans. So we've got that to deal with.
Roy, how much do you feel hinges on this game here?
Yeah, you're thinking the real stumbling block now. You look at the other kind of couple of games they have, you think they should take care of that. This looks, on paper, the toughest game, particularly the West Ham situation, fighting for their lives on the back of their poor result last week. So, yeah, on paper, but of course, they've got to go out and do the business. I think if you're obviously in the Arsenal dressing room, their mindset, if they turn up and bring their A game, I think they will win the game. But if there's any slight lack of concentration or they're slower to the blocks, then West Ham, the situation they're in, will obviously cause them problems. But Arsenal in the driving seat, this is where you want to be with 3 games to go. They would have took that at the start of the season. It's in their hands. They've got the squad. They've got that confidence back. Obviously, they're in the flow. They've had a good week, obviously, with Europe as well. So they're very much in the driving seat.
How far would you go with it, Jamie? If they win here, do you think it's done?
I do. I think this is it. This is the match today. I think if you look at the 2 games, Burnley at home, Crystal Palace away a few days before a cup final or after a cup final.
No, they played it before, so they may well rest players for that final.
That's what I'm saying. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. But what is difficult today, as we all know, playing Upton Park or playing here is difficult. West Ham are fighting for their lives, so it doesn't make it any easier. But the form that they're in, the confidence, they will come here and start to believe it, you know, and they've had a really good week. And the fact of what happened on Monday night, when I'm sure they were watching that Everton game, hoping, you know, they go 1-0 down, thinking, right, who knows, what might happen here, and all of a sudden, the fact that it finished with a draw, I still think what it's done is given Arsenal the impetus to know we win 3 games, we win the title. Because before that, if they'd have won 3 games, that still might not have been good enough because of obviously goal difference. So they have got an incredible opportunity now. And like Wright says, I think with the confidence and the squad and everything that's going their way, I just think they're going to do it now.
Would you say, though, Ian, this is the game they have left with the most jeopardy on it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think that with the way they played against Brentford and the way Arsenal have kind of found form with players coming back with a little bit more technical ability about them, you know, you've got someone like Miles in the midfield, you've got Declan getting forward, Saka looks like he's back to the kind of form that we know that he's... This is a game that if you said you got West Ham as one of the games that you have to win to finish this off, because you've got Burnley, then Palace, who will probably be... who will be happy whatever happens at the end of this season, what's going on with them. Fingers crossed they can win something. You take it. And so being in this position now, with all the mistakes that's been made up to this point for Arsenal, we've still got an opportunity to do it. So that's why I feel really confident now. If you gave us this, you'd take it. That's what you take this. This is a perfect situation for us.
And if they do get over the line, if they were to win the European Cup as well, are we talking about this team as legends then, Roy?
Yeah, but...
Thierry said, what's it called?
The Unforgettables.
Unforgettables. It's a great line.
Okay, but let's not get... Listen, let's
not get a nickname.
Come on,
let's have a little while.
Let's throw a nickname in. It would be amazing if they'd done that.
How childish is that? But anyway,
if they don't win it, what are they?
Well, you know,
Forgettables.
Bottlers.
Exactly.
Yeah, No, you got to focus on the game ahead. You can't get too carried away. I think other teams have done that previously. Maybe Arsenal have done it the last couple of years. But in terms of the squad, the last 2 or 3 years, I still never felt they had that strength and depth, that physicality, that mental strength to get over the line. But there's no doubt in my mind, from the start of the season, the recruitment, the changes even in the background, new director of football coming in, etc. They have it. They have all the players, the strength and depth. And the sign of a really good team is what they've got on the bench and players even out of the squad. So they're in that driving position. But obviously, don't make the mistake of looking at games in a couple of weeks. They're in the driving seat. Focus on this game. That's key. And if they get over the line here, it's a step closer to winning that title. But don't get too distracted by the games.
They're celebrating already out here, I think. I suppose the nice thing, Ian, or not, about that moniker the Unforgettables. I suppose the point is if they don't get over the line, as Jamie says, what do we think of them then? Is the only way to be remembered by actually lifting this thing?
Yeah, ideally, I think that if they can lift this, and like you look at the games that they've got left, let's face it, they should do it with the squad that we've got. But in respects of like, you know, the names and all that, this team could go down if they finish this season how we'd like it to finish, as probably the best in Arsenal's history with what they've done. I'd say what Mikel's done up to this point, what he's brought this team to become, and they're finally looking like they might get over the line. Yeah, you have to say that. I wouldn't think about what it's like if they don't do it. But the one thing I know that if they don't do it is that they'll be going again next season trying to do the both of them again. That's the main thing. We're in a place where I don't think we've been in the last few years with Arsenal, where it's now in our hands to completely finish it with 3 games to go.
They've got the strength of depth.
Without a doubt.
But
this one, would you be fair to say this one would hurt the most if you didn't do it?
You know, they all hurt, Jane, because you always you think you're so close.
I'm not, because I'm an Arsenal.
No.
I'm just on about because you've got to this point now, and obviously the positivity is there, and that's how they have to embrace this now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Jane,
you've also got to remember you're playing against a side today that are fighting for their lives, because Tottenham have turned the screw on them a little bit, so they've got to compete. A point. Is that good enough? This is a game really where both teams needs to win, and that's why it's set up so beautifully.
Yeah, but if Arsenal are at their best, you just look at the table. West Ham will find it very difficult. If Arsenal turn up and go, it's going to be an easy game, then obviously they will come on.
City drop points here.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that you know that at this stage, and Roy will know, just like as well as anybody else, is that you can't come and take anyone for granted, especially because we've seen it happen. We've seen teams lose at this stage and then have to try and get it back. So Arsenal their mindset now will be one of finishing this off, because they've already done what they've done in respect of getting to the Champions League final. That's sitting ready. This is what they're focusing on.
What if 22 years of waiting, 22 years of almost, 22 years of 3 second-place heartbreak in a row is about to end in the most beautifully chaotic way possible? What if the badge on the chest of Bukayo Saka, Martin Odegaard, and Victor Gyökeres is about to be redefined forever in the next 3 weeks? Because right now, Gooners, Thierry Henry has dropped a single word into the football universe that has every pundit, every pub, every podcast on the planet buzzing: the Unforgettables. A nickname meant to sit beside the Invincibles in the Arsenal pantheon. But here is the part nobody wants to say out loud. Roy Keane already said it for them. Win, and you are immortal. Slip, and you become the Forgettables. And the moment of truth has finally arrived. Hello, Gooners. Welcome back to Arsenal Quick News, your go-to spot for the latest Arsenal FC updates, breakdowns, and reactions. Are you genuinely ready for what might be the most defining 3 weeks of the Arteta era? Before we go deeper, smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because if Arsenal lift this Premier League trophy and walk into Budapest as champions, you do not want to miss a single second of the analysis we have lined up. Quick question for you, straight up. Do you actually believe this is the year? Or has the scar tissue from those 3 runner-up finishes left you bracing for impact? Drop a believe or brace in the comments. I want to feel the temperature of this fan base right now. Sitting in the Sky studio ahead of the West Ham trip, Ian Wright, Roy Keane, and Jamie Redknapp delivered one of the most revealing punditry segments of the season. Wright described the current vibe as a beautiful, nerve-wracking feeling, admitting the last 3 squads simply lacked the depth to finish the job. This one, he insists, is different, and even watching Manchester City grind out a win against Brentford the night before could not shake his belief that the games remaining are winnable. Roy Keane, never one to soften an opinion, identified the West Ham fixture as the genuine stumbling block. With Burnley at home and Crystal Palace away to follow, the London Stadium trip is the toughest test on paper, particularly with the Hammers fighting for Premier League survival after a dreadful display against Brentford. Keane stressed Arsenal are firmly in the driving seat, and any squad in the country would have taken this position in August. Jamie Redknapp went bullish, declaring that a win at West Ham essentially seals it. Burnley at home, and a Palace fixture sandwiched around the Champions League final against PSG in Budapest on May 30, that is the kindest possible run-in. The biggest moment came when Wright referenced Henry's Unforgettables line, prompting Keane's brutally keen response. If they fail, they become the Forgettables. Cold. Fair. Terrifying. A 2-point cushion over Manchester City, 3 games to go, and a Champions League final on the horizon. The math is simple. The execution is everything. So, what does this actually mean for Arsenal Football Club? The weight pressing down on Saliba, Rice, Odegaard, and Gyökeres is enormous, and it stretches across multiple layers. Arsenal have not lifted the Premier League since 2003-04. 3 consecutive runner-up finishes have created a specific kind of psychological scar, the kind where you genuinely start wondering if the football universe has filed a restraining order against this club. But here is my honest take, Gooners, and this is where I want to give you a perspective you will not hear on Sky. This season is structurally different from the previous 3 pushes. And the difference is not vibes, it is data. In 2022-23, Arsenal collapsed because the squad was thin and the spine cracked under fatigue. In 2023-24, they ran out of goals at the wrong moment. In 2024-25, the injury list to Saka, Odegaard, and Havertz at the same time was a club-defining nightmare. This year, the rebuild has finally addressed all 3 problems simultaneously. Victor Gyökeres took Henry's iconic number 14 inches this summer, a move that initially terrified me as someone who watches every Arsenal game. The pressure of that shirt has crushed better players. Instead, he has 18 goals already in his debut season, and Ebereki Eze arrived as a creative wildcard who scored the winner against Newcastle. Martin Zubimendi at the base of midfield gives Arteta the press resistance Jorginho could only deliver in flashes. Christian Mosquera, Christian Nørgaard, Piero Hincapié, and Noni Madueke have given the bench a depth that simply did not exist 12 months ago. And lifting both the Premier League and the Champions League, which has not been done by any English club in the same season since Manchester United in 1999, would do something genuinely historic. Liverpool's title defense collapsed. Manchester City have not been their relentless selves. The door is open. Arsenal walked through it. Now they have to slam it shut. Let me put this into proper perspective. The Unforgettables tag is a deliberate echo of the 2003-04 Invincibles Henry, Vieira, Pires, Bergkamp, Campbell, Cole, Lauren, Toure, who went the entire Premier League season unbeaten. That side has hung over every Arsenal team since, like a beautiful, suffocating ghost. But here is where my analysis goes against the grain. This Arsenal team should not be compared to the Invincibles, and trying to do so actually undersells what Arteta has built. The Invincibles were a team of expressive geniuses, given freedom by Arsène Wenger. This 2025-26 side is a tactical machine, set-piece, dominant, structurally elite, devastating in transition, brutal out of possession. They are closer in DNA to Diego Simeone's Atletico or Carlo Ancelotti's quietly murderous Real Madrid sides than they are to Henry's Flair Brigade. And honestly, that is a compliment. The Premier League of 2026 is not the Premier League of 2004. The financial gap, the tactical sophistication, the depth of opposition, the calendar congestion, winning a title in this era while simultaneously reaching a Champions League final is arguably a harder feat than going unbeaten was in 2004. I will say it openly. Roy Keane himself flagged the genuine evolution, the smart recruitment, the new sporting director structure, the strength on the bench, the physicality, the mental fortitude grown season over season. Pep Guardiola's City won through possession. Klopp's Liverpool won through gegenpressing. Arteta's Arsenal are winning through structure, set pieces, and squad architecture, and if they finish this off, they will sit in elite, rarefied company alongside the treble winners of 1,999. So where does Arsenal go from here? Let me paint the realistic picture. The West Ham trip is the steepest mountain remaining, and it is loaded with jeopardy. The Hammers are scrapping for survival. The London Stadium will be hostile. Every tackle and clearance will feel like a cup final. Arsenal cannot walk in thinking the title is wrapped. Roy Keane warned about it. Keane Redknapp warned about it. History is littered with title-winning sides that lost focus at the worst moment. But assuming Arsenal navigate East London with their A-game, the path becomes genuinely encouraging. Burnley at home should be a controlled, professional afternoon at the Emirates. The Crystal Palace trip presents an interesting wrinkle because of its proximity to the Budapest final against PSG. Arteta will almost certainly rotate, manage minutes, protect Saka and Saliba ahead of European glory. That is exactly the squad management Wright was praising, the kind that simply was not possible in any of the previous 3 pushes. Then there is PSG on May 30 inches Budapest, a separate competition, separate pressures, separate history-making opportunity. The dream scenario is lifting the Premier League first, then walking into the Champions League final as freshly crowned domestic champions with unshakable belief. The doomsday scenario, and I will not dwell here, is dropping points at West Ham watching City pounce, and arriving in Budapest emotionally drained. Here is my honest projection, Gooners, and this is where I plant a flag. I think Arsenal win the league at West Ham. Not because the Hammers will roll over, but because this Arsenal squad has finally developed something the previous three did not the ability to win ugly. To grind out a 1-0 with a Saliba header from a Rice corner, to absorb pressure for 20 minutes and counterpunch through Madueke or Martinelli. To trust David Raya in the moments that matter. The Champions League final is a coin flip against PSG. Anyone telling you otherwise is selling something. But the league? The league is in the Gunners' hands. And for the first time in 2 decades, I genuinely believe the hands are steady. So here is the truth, Gooners, served straight. Arsenal stand on the edge of something that could define an entire generation of this football club. 3 Premier League fixtures, 1 Champions League final, separating them from history or another bitter summer of what if. The squad is there, the bench is there, the form is there, the path is clear. Now I want to hear from you. Do you genuinely believe this Arsenal team has what it takes to become the Unforgettables? Or are the ghosts of the last 3 seasons still whispering in your ear? Drop your honest, unfiltered, gut-level takes in the comments below. Your voices are what make this community electric. If this breakdown gave you the analysis you came here for, smash that like button, hit subscribe right now if you have not already, ring that notification bell, and share this video with every Gooner you know. Up the Arsenal, and we will see you in the very next one.